A demo agent proves that something can work once. A production agent proves that it keeps working when nobody is around to babysit it. Now, I've seen teams building an agent on Thursday, show it to everyone on Friday, and by Saturday night, someone is on call trying to understand why the agent is stuck in a retry loop. Why is it burning the tokens, calling the same tool again and again, while the downstream service is keep on returning the error code 503. Now that engineer was me once. The agent worked, and that was exactly the problem. This video is about the gap between it ran in a control setting and it survives a real traffic, like bad input, flaky tools, partial outages, and sleepy humans at 3 a.m. A control demo quietly hides the hardest parts of the system. It hides that your model provider may slow down. It hides that your tool calls may fail halfway. It hides that the user can actually send the ugly input, which are not polished one. And it hides that in production, nobody gives you a credit for being mostly right. But in demo, if you think about it, if a tool fails, you would rerun that step. But in production, that same failure becomes a pager. That same failure is going to become a support ticket or a silent bad decision that the business would notice 2 days later. Now, that is the real shift, guys. The moment an agent stops being something you manually supervise and starts making the decision inside a live system, the standard would change drastically. So the question over here is this. When something goes wrong at 3 a.m., can another engineer understand what has happened, stop the damage, and recover the system even without guessing? Now, there are 5 places where a decent demo turns into a fragile production system. First, you do not know as when the agent is wrong. Now, it's not about whether the agent is down, it's more about whether the agent is wrong. And this wrong is much more dangerous than your agent not available. Second, when your tool boundaries are weak. So every tool call is basically a failure surface. You'll have a retry, you'll have a timeout, you'll have a duplicate action, partial success, and this is where your blast radius begins. And third, the dependencies degrade in messy ways. The model can get slower, the vector store gets stale. One API might start returning the incomplete data. A prompt change silently shifts the behavior itself. Now, nothing is technically down if you think about it, but the system is no longer healthy from the business outcome standpoint. Fourth, nobody can debug the decision path quickly. Now, this is something that hurts the most. Let's say you have your agent and it has done 5 things in a sequence. Now, which step actually caused that issue? What is that input that has triggered it? Now, what tool result changed that path? Fifth, you cannot stop it safely. Let's say if you pause the workflow, do you leave the state half written or do you actually double execute an external action when you actually resume? Or do you lose the context that you needed to recover? Now, these are not the edge cases in terms of agent because this is what the production actually is. The first mistake that teams make is they set up the alert on the uptime. Now, from the agentic standpoint, that's not enough because your agent can be perfectly available, but still be doing the wrong things for hours. And your endpoint would be green. But if you look into the business outcome, it would be red. So the question is, what is it that you have to watch? First one is tool failure rate by tool. So it's always recommended to look into this tool failure rate by the tool. It's not recommended to take the average. See, if you take the overall average across the system, that is going to hide the problem. Like for example, let's say if your retrieval is failing, let's say 12% of the time, and if your database lookup is healthy, The average looks harmless, but your agent has quietly shifted from maybe grounded answers to hallucinated or made up answers. And as a result of this, we always say that the per tool visibility matters because each tool has a different business impact. If you have a flaky search tool in a search heavy workflow, then that's a severity, guys. So the same flaky tool in a workflow with a strong cached fallback may just be a degradation. And the second thing is cost and token usage by session, by route and tenant. Now, these matters than most teams actually admit. So if you think about, let's say, a retry loop. Let's say you have a retry loop and you have a large context window, and it can burn shocking amounts of money very fast. The monthly bill is the wrong place for you to discover that. You want an alert when one session crosses a token threshold. Maybe one route suddenly doubles in cost, or one tenant starts generating an abnormal pattern. Because runaways are usually local first, then global later. And the third key thing is structural quality signal. See, you cannot reliably alert on the hallucination at runtime. What you can do over here is you can alert on the things that strongly correlate with a broken behavior. For example, an invalid JSON, a wrong schema, missing required fields. Tools was actually expected but never called. The tool was called in a wrong sequence, or the refusal policy was actually bypassed. The final output shape drifted from what my downstream systems expected. Now, these are not the perfect quality metrics, but they catch the class of failure where the agent is still answering, yet the system is operationally broken. So that is the key idea over here, guys. So you don't have to just alert on availability, you have to alert on the behavior. So here is the production test I care most. An engineer who gets paged at 2 a.m., they did not build the system. So what they will do? They will open the dashboard. Now, can they answer these three questions in under 10 minutes? First, what did the agent do? And why did it actually do it? Is it still doing it right now? If the answer is no, then the system is not production ready. And here is where most teams confuse logging with traces. See, when we talk about logging, it will have a simple statement that says as tool call failed. But a usable trace will tell you what the request was, what the context the agent saw, what decision it made, what tool it selected, what is the tool it returned, how the result changed the next output or the next step, and what final action was taken. Now, that chain is everything. Now, without this, your debugging becomes the archaeology excavation. You are trying to reconstruct the event from fragments. But if you have a distributed tracing, we call it as the open telemetry standards, then the debugging would simply become the inspection. You will, each session or each trace will have a session ID, you will have a span ID, and that span ID will have a maybe a child span ID. That means there is a linkage to the parent span ID. We can look into the complete tree structure right here. So here is the real trade-off over here, guys. If you start doing the full tracing, these full tracing is going to add the storage, it's going to add the cost, and it's going to add some latency. Now, that is true. But the just because it is going to add the latency, the answer is let's not log nothing or let's not log anything. The answer is about the smarter capture. So what is it that I minimally require so that I can retrace back about the agent action, including the reasoning behind it. So that's the entire game right here, guys. So my preferred pattern is this, guys. Full trace on failures, full trace on small sample of successful session, and lighter skeleton traces on the remaining one. So this will give you the high fidelity failure data without pretending that every success needs the same weightage. So if your team cannot answer this 10-minute questions, you do not have a production ready agent. What you have is an interesting demo with a traffic that is being appeared. So there is one dependency that breaks the agent systems in a quiet manner. That is the prompt. People talk about model as an infrastructure. They talk about vector store as an infrastructure. They talk about tools as an infrastructure. The prompt is an infrastructure as well. And yet, many teams still treat it like a paragraph. Someone can edit casually and they will paste it into this configuration file. And that's how the regressions are born in the agentic system. Now, I have seen a small wording change fix one behavior and silently starts damaging the another one. The agent would still run. The deployment still looks normal. There's no code change, but tool use starts drifting. The refusal behavior starts changing and output format starts slipping. Now, that's not a prompt issue. That is a production change management issue. And when we talk about a real production prompt, it requires the versioning, it requires the change history, test, approval, as well as the rollback. So if you cannot answer as who changed this prompt, when and why, with something precise, then your agent behavior is actually sitting on a quicksand right here. So here is the right mental model that I want you to keep going forward. And when we talk about the agentic system in production, so do not think about an agent as a clever script. Think about it as a contract. And that contract has three promises. Promise number one, give a valid input within unknown distribution. The system should produce a valid output within the acceptable latency and cost range. Promise number two, when it cannot do that, it should fail in a way the surrounding system can actually detect, not silently, not ambiguously, not by pretending that it's actually a success. And the third promise is, if it acts on the outside world, the action must be safe to reason about, ideally reversible, ideally idempotent, and at minimum, traceable enough that a human can reconstruct what has happened. Now, that's the key difference between the smart behavior and the operational behavior. The demo will only prove the happy path, but a production system proves the contract that it would still hold when the reality gets involved. So the difference between an agent that demos well and an agent that survives in production is not a model choice or it's not a framework choice. It's not whether you added one more tool over here. It is your relationship with the failure. So the engineer who is building a demo always asks as, does it work? But the engineer who's building for production always asks as, how will it fail? How quickly will we notice? And how safely can we recover? Now that changes everything. It changes on what you alert on. It changes on what is it that you would include in that tracing. It changes on how you handle the rules. And more importantly, it will also change as how you version the prompt. It changes as whether you add circuit breakers. It changes whether your on call is manageable or whether he would become miserable. The agent that survives at 3 a.m. is usually not the cleverest agent. It is the one that is built by someone who respected failure even before shipping. All right, guys. So if this way of thinking resonates with you, if you're building the agents and you know the gap between a good looking demo and a system that can survive the real production pressure, there's a community of serious engineers where we go deeper into these exact patterns. We look into the failure mode, we look into the operational trade off, the things that you only learn after the systems break. So you will find it in the description. System ship, demos don't. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.